So we'll have practicar, nice and easy, to practice. Bailar, to dance. Volver, to return. That's quite an easy one to remember as well, because volver looks a little bit like revolve. It's got the second part of revolve in there, and revolve comes back again. So volver, to come back or to return. Comer, to eat. And compartir, to share. And I guess with that you could try to remember it as sharing a compartment. Compartir, to share. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is how we can change these to-do words to we. Okay, so we practice, we dance, we eat, we share. And it's very easy. You just take the R, the last letter, off and add mos. As easy as that. So to get to we do these things, take the R off and add mos. So how would you say we dance? Take the R off, add mos, bailamos. Bailamos, we dance. How would you say we practice Spanish? We practice Spanish. What would that be? Practicamos español. Practicamos español. How about we eat a lot? We eat a lot, and the word for a lot is just much, mucho, mucho. So how would you say we eat a lot? Comemos mucho. Comemos mucho. How about we share a lot? What would that be? Compartimos mucho. Compartimos mucho. So just take the R off and add mos. Compartimos, we share. And if we want to say we don't, we just put no before the verb. No. So how about we don't practice much? We don't practice much. No practicamos mucho. No practicamos mucho. We don't practice much. How about we don't eat much? We don't eat much. What would that be? No comemos mucho. No comemos mucho. Now, if you want to say, shall we, in Spanish, shall we eat? Shall we share our food? Shall we practice Spanish? So in Spanish, they don't have a word for shall we. They just ask the question with the we verb. So, practicamos español is we practice Spanish. Shall we practice Spanish is the same, but with the intonation of a question. Practicamos español? Practicamos español? Shall we practice Spanish? So how would you say, shall we eat? Shall we eat? What would that be? Comemos? Comemos? Shall we eat? The same as we eat, but as a question. How about, shall we go back? Shall we go back? What would that be? Volvemos? Volvemos? Shall we go back? And how about, shall we share this? Shall we share this? And the word for this is just esto. Esto. So how would you say, shall we share this? ¿Compartimos esto? ¿Compartimos esto? And how about, shall we dance? What would that be? Bailamos. Bailamos. Shall we dance? Okay, so we've learnt we is just taking the R off and adding mos. So we do all these things. To say, shall we? It's exactly the same, but as a question. If we want to say, let's do these things, let's do these things. For let's, it's a kind of command, but it's like a we command, a command that we do something. And in Spanish, we need the subjunctive for that. Now, luckily, this is really easy in the we present. So let's take practicar. So it ends in AR. So all we do is, instead of the amos ending, we just take the hemos from the volvemos, comemos, etc. So if it ends in AR, we just swap it for an hemos. Okay, so how would we say, let's dance? Let's dance. What would that be? Bailemos. Bailemos. So a kind of we command, let's do this. Let's dance. Bailemos. Okay, so we dance would be bailamos, but let's is a command, needs the subjunctive, and so we could think of it as the kind of opposite ending. Instead of amos, we take hemos. So bailemos, let's dance. How would you say, let's practice? Let's practice. Practiquemos. Practiquemos. Let's practice. Practiquemos. How would you say, let's practice Spanish? What would that be? Practiquemos español. Practiquemos español. You may already know the verb for to speak or to talk. So to talk, hablar. Hablar. Another AR verb, hablar, to talk or to speak. So how would you say, let's talk? Let's talk. What would that be? Hablemos. Hablemos. How about, let's talk in Spanish? Or let's speak in Spanish. And in is just en. In. So how would you say, let's speak in Spanish? Hablemos en español. Hablemos en español. Let's speak in Spanish. Okay, so when we want to say let's, and it's an AR verb, our ending is hemos. Practiquemos. Bailemos. Hablemos. And if it's not AR, so that would mean volver, comer, which are ER verbs, and also the IR verbs like compartir, to share, salir, to go out, escribir, to write, etc. So if it's not AR, then it has the amos ending. So again, we've just done like a kind of swap with the AR. So we've got amos as our ending. So how would we say, let's go back, let's return? What would that be? Volvamos. Volvamos. So let's return, volvamos. How about, let's share this? What would that be? Let's share this. Compartamos esto. Compartamos esto. Let's share this. And if we want to say, let's not do this, let's not, it's the same as before. The not goes at the beginning. So how do you think we would say, let's not talk, or let's not speak? What would that be? No hablemos. No hablemos. And if we wanted to say, let's not talk about this, let's not talk about this, we already know esto is this. And in Spanish, they use de, which is of. So they would say, let's not speak of this. So how would you say that? Let's not speak of this. No hablemos de esto. No hablemos de esto. Let's not talk about this. How would we say, let's not go back? Let us not go back, or let's not go back. What would that be? No volvamos. No volvamos. How about, let's not practice today. Let's not practice today. The word for today is hoy, H-O-Y. So how would you say that? No practiquemos hoy. No practiquemos hoy. Let's not practice today. Okay, so we started off just by learning we, and we just saw that we in the present, just take the R off and add mos. So we had practicamos, bailamos, we had volvemos, comemos, compartimos, just taking the R off and adding mos. And then we saw that if we want to say, let's do this, as it's a command, we need the subjunctive, and all that happens is there's a kind of swap. So the amos from before becomes hemos, and the other two become amos. So let's practice, practiquemos. Let's dance, bailemos. Then the other way around, let's go back, volvamos. There are some exceptions to this, as always. They're quite easy to remember, though, and an easy group of exceptions to remember are verbs that in the first person, in the I, in the present, end in go. So there's that group that you may already know, like tengo, I have, vengo, I come, salgo, I go out, pongo, I put, etc. Now, all of these, they just end, they still keep that G, but it ends gamos, gamos. So, pongamos, let's put. And salir is to go out. Salgo is I go out, so it's one of those go verbs. So how would we say, let's go out? What would that be? Salgamos. Salgamos, let's go out. And if you remember, today was hoy. Hoy. How would you say, let's not go out today? Let's not go out today. What would that be? No salgamos hoy. No salgamos hoy. Another go verb is hago, I do. Hago, I do. So how would we say, let's do this? Let's do this. What would that be? Hagamos esto. Hagamos esto. How about, let's not do this today? Let's not do this today. What would that be? No hagamos esto hoy. No hagamos esto hoy. Okay, quick recap before we go on. So we started off with we. Just normal, we do this, we dance a lot, we eat too much, whatever it might be. And for that, we just take the R off of the verb, the last letter, and add mos. Comemos, bailamos, hablamos, practicamos, compartimos, etc. And we saw then that to change that to let's, we kind of swap the endings around a little bit. So what was amos before, hablamos, becomes hemos, hablemos, let's talk. And the ones that aren't AR go to amos, so volvamos, let's go back. And we saw that an exception to this, a group of verbs that we can call go verbs, so those are the ones that in I, present, the ending go, tengo, I have, vengo, I come, salgo. So the let's for those verbs ends in gamos, so tengamos, pongamos, salgamos, let's go out. And there's one more important exception, and that's to say let's go, which is probably one of the most common let's phrases. And in Spanish, to say let's go, they don't use the subjunctive. It's just vamos. It's already irregular anyway, an irregular we. So let's go is just vamos, vamos. So let's go to the beach today would be vamos a la playa hoy. Vamos a la playa hoy. Let's go to the beach today. How would you say, let's go to the party? Let's go to the party. And instead of a la playa, to the beach, it would be a la fiesta. Fiesta is party. So how would you say, let's go to the party? Vamos a la fiesta. Vamos a la fiesta. Let's go to the party. So let's go is the exception because it doesn't use the subjunctive. It's just vamos. Okay, and if you're starting to reach saturation point, then you've done very well up to this point, so you can stop the video and give yourself a pat on the back. I'm going to make one extra point, so if you've still got some mileage, then just listen to this. We've just said that vamos is for let's go, and it doesn't use the subjunctive. It's irregular, or it's different. But let's not go is the subjunctive. Let's not go is. And the subjunctive we for go is vayamos. Vayamos. So let's not go would be no vayamos. No vayamos. How would you say, let's not go to the party? Let's not go to the party. What would that be? No vayamos a la fiesta. No vayamos a la fiesta. How about, let's not go to the beach today? What would that be? No vayamos a la playa hoy. No vayamos a la playa hoy.